Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Lookout. Today is the 9th of September, and we're going to do our morning fire report. If you're joining us for the first time, my name is Zeke Lunder. I'm a wildfire analyst. I work out of Chico, California, and I take publicly available data and visualize it, and then talk about what I'm seeing. I've been working in wildfire since about 1995. Mainly in mapping, analysis, fuels management on the forestry side of fire. So I'm going to take us around the fires that we got going. Mainly we're going to look at the Mosquito and the Fairview. And we're going to show you what we've got. Overnight they flew most of these fires. We've got kind of a new thing going on in California. It's called Virus. Started off in Orange County as kind of a pilot project or a test project. And then with the governor's big new CAL FIRE budget, it became part of California Office of Emergency Services. So basically Virus flies airplane around and they scan all these fires. It's kind of military technology. And this technology has been around for a long time, but there hasn't been the money in the fire industry for the defense contractors to really get into it. And now it's there. Part of that's all these huge fires we're having. And so the governor's invested a whole lot of money in fire. And part of that means that there's enough money in it now for defense contractors to bring their tools to the table. And it's pretty amazing, useful stuff. And thanks to people like my buddy AJ, Andreas Johansson, who's been helping kind of push forward public access to this data. Because then it means I can share it with you, and you can all see what's happening in as near real time as pretty much anyone who's not right on the ground is getting it. So we're going to start off here. We're going to look at the maps and go through, start with the Mosquito Fire. So we're going to start out here looking to the north over Foresthill. There's Foresthill in the center. All these green dots are structures. And we've got our fire today is kind of coded in colors kind of for the progression of it since yesterday. So we're looking, starting to look a little to the east here, over Volcanoville. And we'd like to color this in intervals so you can see where the spread is happening. So yellow is where the fire was yesterday at 12:45, just after noon, right before it jumped the river. Orange is where the fire was at coming up on 5 p.m. yesterday after it made a big monster run up the Middle Fork and up the Rubicon. And then the red is where the fire was this morning at last night at 11 p.m. So red's 11 p.m. So what's that mean? What are we seeing here? What I'm seeing is that the fire basically didn't spread much towards Georgetown or Volcanoville between 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. So we're kind of curious what happened after 5 p.m. Excuse me. And what happened after 5 p.m. is it ran hard up here towards Quintet. And it kind of backed a bit down canyon towards Volcanoville here on the flank. So it took off here across the river yesterday at Horseshoe Bar Tunnel Chute Rapid. Ran up the slope here, and then through the afternoon it was cranking away on this kind of north-facing slope. So it's moved a little over here yesterday evening. We're going to come around and look at Foresthill. But this is good. The fact that by 11 it hadn't spread farther to the south and west, that's a really good thing. Let's just spin around here real quick. Can see that also yesterday afternoon, evening, had a big run up. I'm not sure which creek this is, but big run out here to the east. And also that there was some firing that continued here along Chicken Hawk Road. So the fire here in the afternoon, evening, and then at 11 p.m. they'd fired a lot of this. So if they can hold Chicken Hawk Road here, it's a really good deal, keeping the fire from spreading to the north. So coming back down here, here's Michigan Bluff, coming back down towards Foresthill. Foresthill Road drops down towards us here. we're looking northeast. And so kind of one of the tough spots, kind of a linchpin here for Foresthill, is the fires cross Mosquito Road below Foresthill down in the Middle Fork Canyon. So yesterday, at coming up on 5 p.m., the fire was here. 11 p.m. it was up to the top of the ridge. So we talked about how this was burning out yesterday. There's a bunch of retardant up here, and last night they did a firing operation on this flank, and I don't know much about it. Just saw kind of a little bit of it on a webcam. I think that they brought fire up the road here. So we'll probably have an updated perimeter around noon today that'll show what's going on with that. But that's kind of what their options are here for keeping it out of the populated areas, is to fire this road here and then probably tie it off. There's a fire line here. I'm not sure if this is contingency line from the 2016 Trailhead Fire or not, but there's this kind of established fire line here before the fire. So this is being prepped, and likely this will be a spot where they really are working hard to stop the down canyon spread of the fire. So we're going to keep an eye on that. So that's just south of Foresthill. So looking over Volcanoville here, we're just going to kind of cruise up Volcanoville Road. There are a few green kind of structure dots out here on the fire side of the road, but so far it's it's about as good as we could hope for. When we get up here towards Quintet, I don't know what the options are here, what the strategy is. I haven't had time to look at the operations map yet this morning to see what's going to happen on this flank. But there's just a lot of perimeter here, and the fire behavior yesterday in this part of the fire was just extreme. And so we'll be watching to see what evolves here as you get farther out here, moving to the east. This is the King Fire in here, and this is all area that is private timberland that was salvage logged after 2014 King Fire. So what happens there is they cut down the trees that are killed, they clear off the brush, they plant trees, they spray herbicide, and they try to control the brush so their baby trees can survive. So basically what that is giving us here is this ginormous fuel break. So that that may or may not come into play. Obviously, no one wants the fire to burn up through all this private timberland and clear cuts and make it look like what happened in the King Fire. It's just a matter of fire behavior today. And in the afternoon, if the fire gets up and pushes like it did yesterday, nothing is going to really hold the fire out here. So not sure what's going on overnight strategically. You know, fire pushed so much yesterday that no one really had any time yesterday to be making much of anything happen out here is what I'm thinking. So we'll keep you posted on that. But this is definitely kind of the most dangerous and kind of the stuff that's burning out here in the steep canyons. It's likely we're not going to get a lot of work done on that right away until the fire behavior moderates. But this part here, having the kind of ability to hook back around, it's really important that we get this tied in. So I'm sure they're going to be focusing a lot on this kind of southeast part of the fire. So that's Mosquito, just for reference. Georgetown's down here. Todd Valley over here. Foresthill Bridge is still down off the bottom here. All right, let's jump to New Fire. We're going to go down to Southern California here and look at the Fairview. We'll come back. When you have questions, we'll come back to Mosquito. But right now we're going to cover the Fairview Fire in SoCal. All right, so the big question down here on Fairview. So we talked early on in this fire. We talked to our friend down here who lives in Hemet, who fire behavior analyst, and he pointed out the potential here for the fire to keep spreading out into this old growth manzanita, chaparral, huge chunk of land that hasn't burned for a long time. So far, the fire's kind of holding up here on the Rouse Hill truck trail. Sounded like they had kind of shaky containment there, but it hasn't spread a lot there in the last couple imagery cycles. And the big worry here is the east winds coming with the hurricane. So yesterday evening, it looks like the fire kind of squirted out here towards Sage Road. This is Sage Road out here. And the worry here is just that the hurricane's coming. And if we look at east winds, they're going to kind of blow the fire this way, out towards Temecula. So there's a kind of huge evacuation warning or mandatory zone. I'm not sure. You'll have to check with your local authorities. Out to the west of this fire. And let's just jump to the satellite real quick to show you why that's happening. Okay, so it's a little hard to see here, but here is California. And here's the hurricane. So the hurricane is, as of right now, kind of coming right up on like Tijuana. I can't really tell where the center of it is, but what that's doing is it's bringing in this huge low, and the winds are the high pressure in the interior is kind of going to smash in here and create kind of the Santa Ana big offshore east winds. And the big question is, as this storm's arriving, what's going to happen with the rainfall, and what's that delay? Like, do we have an hour of crazy intense winds? Do we have 12 hours? I'm not your meteorologist, but I know that big east winds are already starting up in SoCal, and the worry is that the big east winds are going to blow this fire like crazy before it gets soaked with rain, and then we're going to get flash flooding. Anyway, storm's getting there. Here's another view of it. Kind of, this is mid-level water vapor, just showing all this kind of energy and moisture moving in right now into San Diego County. So this morning should be wild and woolly. We'll have an update for you later on that. I just want to show you one other website. It's called windy.com. And it shows you wind direction and forecast. So we're interested in this area down by Hemet. And so if we click on the map here, it'll give us a forecast of what's going to happen at that spot over the next short term. So it says the wind gusts are going to be coming 35 miles an hour at 11 a.m. And so you can kind of see, this is a great site. I recommend checking it out, windy.com. And then you can pick the different forecast models, but you can animate it and it'll show you kind of as it goes what the winds are going to be at your location. So if we pop up here to 11 a.m., it shows kind of this strong offshore wind. It shows that lasting like from like the big winds are lasting from like now until like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Anyway, I like that. I like the site, windy.com. We'll go back to the map. So just to kind of show one more time, here's the fire. East is off this way. East wind means the fire is going to blow this way, down towards Murrieta, Temecula. And there's a lot of kind of just wild brushland that then turns into urban interface. So good luck, everyone. Hold on to your hats. The Radford Fire we've been covering down here, Big Bear Lake. It's really minimal spread on that. They might have gotten some precip on it, but overnight mapping shows that there's some little scattered hot spots of heat. This also potentially is going to get impacted by the hurricane. And This the forecast here are for their winds to get there like at 2 in the afternoon, but they're going to be more of a southeasterly. So there's potential for that for the lingering heat in that fire to cause some problems. They've got some precip here forecast later in the day, 5 p.m. Down here, just coming back down to Hemet, there the precip is also forecast to happen in the afternoon. All right, we got no new intel, I don't think, on the Red and Rogers fire, so let's check real quick. These are the fires that are being managed by the Park Service for resource benefit in Yosemite, and they've spread quite a bit in the last couple of days. Let's see, we don't that actually isn't the newest perimeter. That's the Red Fire. So it has spread quite a bit, kind of tripled in size in the last like 3 or 4 days. It's still contained by granite. So hard to tell what fire effects we're getting out there, but these fires were started by lightning, and it's kind of like who's to question the lightning gods, who decide when they want to put lightning on, when they want to put fire on the ground. The one thing I would say about not trying to put this fire out is it's freeing up a lot of crews to come save people's homes. And that's one of the things to be said for managed fire when we can get away with it in places like this where it's already contained by rock. Is we need resources elsewhere at the same time. Okay, flying up to the Barnes Fire. This is last one we're going to cover here before we go back to questions. This is a new perimeter that was shot at 3 a.m. Yesterday's perimeter here. Don't know what time that was. Night before last, this fire made a big run up the slope of the wind, and now it's kind of back down towards, I think this is Fandango Pass Road, but don't quote me on it. So it's burning right up here at the California-Oregon state line. Nevada's right here, so this is kind of extreme northeastern California. Not a lot of people out there. It's the northern Warner Mountains. We'll see what that one does. That's it for new fires. So we're going to jump back to Mosquito, and I'll take a look at your questions. Does anyone know where we can find an operations map? We'll have it on the Lookout. Check out the-lookout.org. It's kind of, there's a URL for it up here in the top corner of our map. And we'll put an ops map up for Mosquito Fire. In general, the lookout.org is our kind of repository. So we'll have screenshots of these maps from this presentation. We'll have a link to this for the YouTube. So if you want to send anyone to our info, send them to the-lookout.org. How's Georgetown? Fire didn't really spread towards Georgetown in the last, as of our mapping at 11 p.m. Still good. How aligned are fire agencies with the Forest Service? The Forest Service is in the business of selling timber, which goes hand in hand with fire suppression. Forest Service isn't really in the business of selling timber these days. They haven't really been aggressively. They've kind of, the whole spotted owl thing 30 years ago has kind of gutted the Forest Service's operational capacity. There's still some timber sales going on, but Forest Service is more involved right now with cleaning up after massive fires, roadside salvage. They're not really managing the land for logging anymore. Have a friend in Georgetown. He said it probably won't reach Georgetown. So far, so good. Next couple days are really going to be important for containing this south edge of the fire. If they can hold it in here, they still have to deal with it in the canyon. But one good thing that is going on for Georgetown is the 2016 Trailhead Fire, which we'll show here as kind of a blue. This fire scar in here should help if the fire does reach it. 6-year-old burn. There's going to be brush and stuff in there, but there's fire lines from that fire, and the fire did reduce fuels in there. And so that is a good thing for kind of checking up the spread of the fire down the canyon. If they can kind of get a handle on this flank and hold this flank that's stayed cool last night, the big challenge right now is to deal with how it's hooked around here. It's a lot of heat, but it's also pretty flat ground up on the ridge here. There's good access. There's a lot going for Georgetown, and also the fact that we don't get a ton of prevailing like strong southeast winds. Someone said there's an 86 degrees out with east wind at 4 a.m. Okay. I'm just trying to get through your comments here. Can we look at a wind forecast for the Mosquito? Yep, let me do it. Someone says geoengineering ever since we caused excessive rain on the Ho Chi Minh Trail Nam in the 1960s. Huh. I'm not convinced that that's the cause here. Check on the wind forecast for Rome Creek. I'd say check out windy.com. I can't really jump up there right now, but it's pretty easy to use that. What's your thinking on Mountain Fire? I think Mountain's done. Sorry, I kind of abandoned. We were covering Mountain every day, and then it kind of got done, and we jumped to this one. I've been keeping an eye on Mountain. Looks like it's pretty wrapped. Are there both federal and state type 1 teams on the Mosquito Fire? No, they're not. Windscom at Colfax. Great. Hopefully it cools off a little, huh? Where's the head of the fire and how far north wind impact the direction? Will the evacuation warnings in El Dorado County convert to order this morning? I don't really know. And how far the rain's going to come up from the hurricane? Also don't know that. It sounds like people aren't super hopeful that we're going to get a lot of rain. Okay, so here's just in the big picture the fire history scar. This is the King Fire. It really does create a buffer between Pollock Pines and even kind of Upper Camino. And so a big part of that is there's the old control lines here, but also, like we said, the salvage logging. Of course, there's going to be grass and brush and other fuels that have grown back after the fire, but as we've said, it's a lot easier for air tankers to be effective in these kind of open burn scars than it is in closed timber. So people are asking about the wind forecast. Let's pull that up, and then I think that's about what we got. Weather Underground shows current winds, someone says. All right, back to windy. Colfax, here we go. All right, so let's look out here. Here's Georgetown. So what we're looking at here are wind gusts. We're looking for reds. Right now it's not showing any big gusts. It shows steady winds. 2 p.m. this afternoon out of the west, kind of southwest, which is good. So you can look at the arrow here on the bottom, and it shows you. So what we're worried about is strong east winds. It shows us east winds at night. it doesn't show any of them being strong. And so in the extended forecast here out to like Wednesday, it's not showing any strong winds. So that's all good news for us. And we know we're going to have prevailing up canyon winds during the day. And that's going to help us on this whole flank on the south end of the fire. Someone says, any chance we'll come over the divide towards I-80? I don't know, but we talked kind of at length last night on last night's broadcast about prospects for the fire burning up to the north. So far, like we mentioned, this flank, not a lot of spread in the last 18 hours. They're working hard on holding it on this flank, and that's a really good deal for keeping it from going farther this way. And it's kind of at the top of the hill here, so oftentimes with fires, they get a lot of momentum burning uphill, and it's a lot easier to control them when they're at the top of the ridge, which is why on a lot of these fire history maps, you see the fire controlled at the ridge. So that's a good thing. Like, fire can't really run uphill at this line. It already has. The challenge right now is that fire has become established down in here, and so there is potential if they don't get this cleaned up, which is their highest priority right now, I'm sure. You could get winds that would carry it up here and kind of outflank this work that's already been done. But no one wants that to happen, and they're going to get aircraft in there as much as possible and crews, and there's decent access here. So once this is tied in here, this part of the fire could be looking really good. And then it's just a matter of them having to put fire on the ground here to keep ahead of this fire as it moves up this way. We don't want to get a big up canyon run here and not be out in front of it. So going back to the windy site, the worry there is kind of southeast wind. And we're not, we're getting southwest wind. I'm not seeing really much southeast wind. There's a little bit here, a couple days out, 4 days out. What's significant of the rotation detected in the column yesterday afternoon? Just that it's really means you've got incredibly severe kind of convective, kind of what we call plume-dominated fire behavior. And so let someone else, there's researchers that can talk all about that, but it just means that things were way crazy out there in the smoke column. Thanks everyone for your super tips over here. Appreciate it. And if you want to donate to us or become a subscriber to the Lookout, you can go. There's a pinned tweet at the top. It takes you to our website, and we got PayPal there, where you can set up a monthly subscription, or you can buy some T-shirts or whatever. But it all helps us keep this thing running. Thanks everyone for your attention, and hope today's good to you. Hopefully I can get on here tonight or tomorrow and give you some good news about how the south flank of the fire is looking. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll put some updates up on Twitter, wildland_ZKO on Twitter. And that's kind of where we're at with updates. If we don't have a lot to share, I might not do a live stream tonight. But we'll be doing them every morning at 7.